just want to start out where I left off the other night. Just wanted to thank our fans. I can't tell you, in a situation like that where it's 2 hours or it seems like forever when you've got a bunch of coaches and 100 guys just literally locked up in a room for a couple hours and to play, we talk about the three ways of being ready to play physically, mentally, and emotionally. It's hard to keep that emotional level. And it was hard for me coming back out there, but to walk out there and see our fans who hadn't left, I think really gave us a real lift to start the game, and particularly, when you have 104,000, it's a big deal. But I don't think there's any place else. Matter of fact, I know there's not any place else where there's 38,800 students at the game. So we don't take that lightly. We're very appreciative of that, and it's what makes Texas A&M very unique, and also makes Kyle Field one of the great places to play in all the country. So I just want to thank everybody for that, and let's see if we can continue to raise those numbers and break a couple more records with attendance in the next coming weeks. Questions?
If you would, raise your hand. We'll get the mic to you. Right here, Sam.
Is that a fedora you got on?
It is. A straw. Given what you just said about the crowd and the atmosphere, even against an opponent that's in the lower division like Lamar, I'm curious, when it comes to recruiting, do you guys have a particular strategy bringing guys on for certain games, like, say, Lamar versus LSU? How do you guys approach that when you talk about bringing prospects in?
I think you're approaching two different issues there. I think what you see here is, if people that complain about schedules, what's unique about Texas A&M is what you're seeing is people come to see us play, and that's important. There are a lot of places out there that they're coming to see certain games or certain opponents. So I think that starts with our fans. I think that starts with like I said, 38,800 students. That doesn't happen a bunch of places. So for us, from a recruiting standpoint, it's not about the opponent. It's about every game in Kyle Field is a big game, and so we only have so many opportunities to get guys on campus. And when you have a venue like we have, and you have over 100,000 people, no matter who you play, it's never literally about the opponent. It's about us. So we get guys when we can get them, and we're very, very sensitive to high school schedules, to high school coaches, because they're playing for their team. Some coaches want them there Saturday mornings, different times or different situations for us to get them here. We got an 8 o'clock game this weekend. So it'll be easier for guys to play Friday night, meet with their team, and still be able to get here than, say, a 2:30 game, no matter who you play. So it's really about whenever we can get guys here to see the game day atmosphere when it's convenient and it doesn't really disrupt their current high school schedule.
For those that don't, is there advantages, disadvantages for them not coming for a game day and staying in that traditional November through January window?
Well, that was the big change, I think, that happened here when we got here. I think recruiting has changed so much. It used to be that getting guys here for the game day experience was a big deal. So many kids are committing early, and then what happens in the off season because of the different schedules and all-star games and things like that, the facility piece became very, very important. Coach, I didn't get to come see a game. I didn't see the atmosphere. You walk out in an empty stadium, they all look the same when they're empty. Whether they're 50 or 100,000, it doesn't, but the facility piece became important because of the young guys who are getting on campus in the summertime when we're not playing, that you're only looking at 6 or 7 opportunities for guys to be here. And, to get 25 guys into that window is a hard thing to do. And that's why the facility piece became so important, so they could see the other parts of the program. And obviously, us being on television, it really, really helps. I mean, television only does so much. Being there is a big deal, so we try to get them here for game day visits.
Down front, Gabe.
Coach, what can you tell us about how Jarvis Harrison has done his part to try to get back in your good graces? Do you foresee him playing this week?
I think he's worked extremely hard, and I think it was an eye-opening experience for him. Whenever a team is successful, and particularly the group that you're with is being successful, I think you start to look around and say, hey, look, we talk about opportunities here. You only are guaranteed 12, and you're playing for 13, 14, and whatever now with playoffs. So 2 of them are gone, and he's got 10 more that are guaranteed. So he's figuring it out. He'll be all right. It's just you have to play at this level. You can't take it for granted, and I'm not saying that was necessarily the case, but I think it's more important to him now than maybe it was 6 months ago. Yeah. I'll put it this way: he's not just going to walk back out and start this week, because the other guys are doing pretty well. He's a good player, but he needs to play that way, and he will. He will, and what you're looking for is that across the board. I think we've got some maturity in our offensive line that we don't have a lot of other positions, and a talent level that's pretty good. But those two things go hand in hand, and that's the reason why you can go on the road and play 99 plays and not have a false start penalty. People say that's coaching, but we don't play. Those guys have handled to handle that atmosphere and be able to do that. That takes some growing up. So it's not going to be easy, but he's played a lot of football here. We're wanting him to play.
Brent.
What has impressed you most about Coach Joseph and his time with you?
I think he's spent a lot of time trying to really corral our secondary and make decisions. We've got a lot of pieces that can play, but having to make decisions on leaving guys in one spot, trying to make them better, trying to create better eye discipline and discipline in our secondary is a big deal. We cut a couple guys loose the first game. I was pleased to see, even though people say, well, it was Lamar, but I thought we played a lot of guys in the secondary last week, and we didn't have those type of issues. This week, Rice will challenge us with play action pass and eye control, things that we did a poor job of a year ago. And so I think he's brought a toughness to our secondary. I think we're more physical. I think everybody can see that with tackling is better. And where we've got to make strides is being consistent. I've said it in the whole offseason. We had to get better at safety. Our safety play needed to be better. Obviously, the decision to start a true freshman is a big deal, particularly on the road. But Armani has risen to the challenge and has been pretty good. So to make those kind of decisions and get guys ready to play, I think he's brought a toughness to the secondary that we needed from a tackling standpoint, from a physicality standpoint, and I think they're getting better. He's a good coach, a good recruiter too. It helps to have a New Orleans guy in here. He knows a little bit about. I always like those guys. You know, a lot of one-way streets in New Orleans, and I get turned around all the time. But I always like those guys that can drive around and just stop and go different places. And he's one of those guys. So, you know, I think he's made some inroads, obviously, with guys there and in recruiting. And he's done a heck of a job with our secondary so far, and it's a work in progress. I mean, we've got to take certain guys off the field is hard in that room. To put a young guy out there and get him ready to play the way he's played is hard, and then to mix all those guys up. You know, we've got a redshirt freshman, a true freshman, and then 2, 3, 4-year starters out there. So it's both ends of the spectrum, and some other guys that want to play, but. You know, I think he's done a great job of managing that and keeping the expectation high for him.
We'll go back left and then front right.
Coach, you touched on the Rice offense a little bit, and you go a little farther into that and what you also look to see from them on defense.
Yeah, you know, it's well documented. David Bailiff and I are good friends. We were neighbors pretty much, lived in the same neighborhood. I was telling the story today that when I was a coordinator here 2001, I don't know when that was, a long time ago. He was a defensive coordinator at TCU. And, you know, we were doing some things differently offensively. And, you know, it was the beginning really of the 4-2-5. And I didn't kind of understand that. And so we would have some late night talks after games. And then, you know, lo and behold, later on, we're playing each other for the Bayou Bucket and living in the same neighborhood, kids going to the same school. You know, I said last year after we played them, everybody was a little bit on us about, you know, performance and what happened. And I think I said after the game, I wouldn't be surprised if they won Conference USA, and they did. So, you know, he's done a fabulous job with that program, not a good job to be where they are and to win that league, to come from, you know, what Rice used to be as a program, to be consistent, to play the games that they played, you know, to go to Notre Dame, come to our place. They're not going to be afraid. They weren't afraid coming in here last year. So they'll be prepared. You know, they're going to challenge us with you know, our eye discipline like we talked about earlier, with play action, with you know, giving some different motions and things like that defensively, and then offensively, you know, that's where he cut his teeth. You know, they're going to be tough. They're going to be safeties are going to fill in there. They're going to change it up. They're going to try to get after our young quarterback, and there's nothing in that program that says they're going to be the least bit intimidated coming in here to play us. So, you know, he does a fantastic job. They've had a bye week, you know, Notre Dame, and a complete 2 weeks to get ready for us. We're going to get their best shot.
Down here at Olin, then we'll go Cease and then Christie.
Coach, you just mentioned a minute ago the decision to start a true freshman is a big deal, but you've never, at least since you've been here, never been hesitant to do that, even though a lot of your, I guess, maybe even older colleagues have been apprehensive historically to start freshmen. Why is it that you've never been apprehensive about starting freshmen? And has there been anything in your background or as you were growing as a younger coach that influenced you to have that philosophy?
Well, we tell them in recruit. I don't bring guys here to stand next to me on the sideline. So, you know, we the best guys play. And what happens in this program is that what we try to do is tell players, hey, listen, what practice is about is you gaining the trust of your coaches and your teammates. And you're going to make mistakes. But, you know, for us to put you on the field, when we put you on the field, all 105 of us, or how many guys we're trusting you, along with the 100,000 people, to do what we've asked you to do, the best you can, and be consistent with it. And so if you can do that, it doesn't matter. Experience is relative. You've heard me talk about that. Just because you're a junior, if you haven't played, what kind of experience is that? So, I think we're recruiting at a level where guys are coming into this program to compete, to play, and we give them that opportunity based on merit of practice. And if you show in practice that you have that ability and you're our best chance to win, we're going to do that. I think this league has shown you that football has changed so much because of, number one, early graduation. We have a number of guys that come in January. They go through spring football. We've got a couple guys playing here that we've done that with. Then you have the situation where, guys are leaving. They're here in June, and we're paying for summer school before their freshman year. So they're here for 7-8 weeks, which is a chance for them to be acclimated to college life, go to class, get 6 hours in the summer, but also with the new rule, we get to meet with them 2 hours a week. So all the installations are in. And Larry Jackson has the chance to get them in a strength and conditioning program for 7 or 8 weeks, which is what you have in spring football. So, it's a heck of a deal. Those guys, it's different in the day than my dad dropped me off and you went to a meeting, signed a bunch of paperwork, and they handed you a playbook that night, and the next day they had a tape on your helmet. They didn't even know your name, and you just run out there, and you don't know, everybody's yelling at you. You don't know the plays. You don't know anything. And you don't even know the guys on the team. So they have really 2 months before practice starts, and then we practice. I mean, they're comfortable. The only thing they haven't seen at that point is a game day, and how they react. But they've been through installations, they've been through workouts, they know their teammates, they know their surroundings. It's a huge advantage, and that's why you see a bunch of younger guys playing right now, I think.
We'll go Cease and then Christie.
You recently put 3 guys on scholarship. You had at least one walk-on play well the other night. Kevin, is there anything, what do you think is different or unique about your walk-on program to get those results?
Well, it starts with 38,800 students coming to the game. We have a number of people that come out, and we have what we call a walk-on tryout period, and you'd be shocked at the number of guys that come to that. And then we can only have so many guys in our program. I mean, we could easily have 150 guys on this team, but we don't have that, But we choose some guys, and we've been able to put guys on scholarship since we've been here. I'm sensitive to that. I was a walk-on, and got a scholarship. So, there are guys we miss in recruiting too. There's guys that have a passion. You never underestimate guys who have a passion to play the game and will work at it. And we've been able to since I've been a head coach, we've been able to do that, and particularly since we've been here, to put at least 3 guys on scholarship, even with what we're doing in recruiting. I think that's important, and I think it also shows, number one, that it's not just a show that we're putting them on scholarship, but we got guys out there playing, and it gives hope to everybody. And this is the home of the 12th man, right? So it was a big deal. We put Sam on scholarship, and somebody told me, well, he can't wear 12 anymore because he's a scholarship player now. So that's the kind of stuff I got to deal with. I get emails like that, but he's still wearing 12. So
There we go. Christie, and then we'll go Aubrey.
Can you talk a little bit about the development of both of your quarterbacks and what you'd like to see from the two of them moving forward?
Yeah, I'd like to see them play really well from here on out. They're guys that they compete. I think you've heard me say before, they've made each other better in practice. And, I think, if people really knew from a statistical standpoint, what we charted, what we did all through camp, how close the completion percentage was, the ratio of completion to interception, moving the team. You know, they both had equal opportunities. I think they've separated by maybe 3%. And so, you know, that really helped in the analysis of who was going to play. But, you know, they've both been have helped each other. I think the biggest thing that I see, which you can't be fake about, is how they support each other. You know, and the conversations that we had, hey, Kyle's going in. Kenny, you're going to start the second half. And the conversation that they had, you know, after Kyle threw the interception, it was not a bad deal. And then, you know, Kyle congratulating Kenny. And then the first guy to go down there after Kyle throws a touchdown is Kenny with the huge, just jumped up in the air and back. I mean, that doesn't happen a lot of places. And so it starts with them. But I think this team is one that genuinely enjoys being around each other and roots for each other's success. When you see those two like that, and then you see our fifth string tailback score, and we almost get a penalty with guys leaving the bench to go down there, you know, that's a big deal. And as a coach, you know, that's when you say, hey, these guys, this is a team that enjoys playing the game, but enjoys each other, and that's not the case everywhere.
Okay, Aubrey.
Last week's game kind of ended up being a late kick, but with the 8 o'clock kick this Saturday, what are the keys to you for kind of keeping guys fresh throughout the entire day or staying off their feet, or how do y'all approach a game this late?
We just, you know, we have about the same routine wherever, you know, whether we play at 11:30 or 8 o'clock, you know, just a longer day in the hotel. Fans like it, the late games. We hate it because we have to sit around and do nothing all day. There's only so many meetings and so many meals, so many walkthroughs, you know, and there's only so much you can do. But I understand it from a television standpoint, from a fan standpoint, particularly this time of year, it's a lot cooler. But if we had our druthers, we'd get up and eat breakfast and go play at 11:30 every day, and then sit around and watch everybody else play that night. But you know, it'll be a great atmosphere for us. And we get that, yeah. But we just kind of change up Saturday a little bit. Don't do as much Friday night. Go to the movie and then come back and have a snack and go to bed and let them sleep in a little bit. So,
All right, down front,
nothing real different.
Gabe, then KO.
Coach, how are your ankles? Not your ankles, but all your players right here.
Okay. How are mine?
How are yours?
That was going to be the weirdest question I've gotten lately.
Everybody else, and I guess you could update us on Clear and even Harris.
Yeah, we've got a couple guys. We'll see what happens. You know, they're still. You know, we're in. This is the first day in pads today, so you know, Cam is a big guy. I don't know what his status will be this week. I thought along those lines, Caden Smith, another walk-on, played very, very well for us last week, and BA is getting some run now. You know, he played a lot more, becoming more consistent. He's been the backside tight end for us, but you know, we've been developing him. But I don't know if Cam's going to be ready to go or not. We played Mike Matthews a little bit. It was important for him. I think he probably shouldn't have played, but he's a guy that came to me and said he wanted to play. I think deep down inside that consecutive start thing is a big deal to him because of his brother. But you know, he's better this week. You know, Trey Carson, we'll see. You know, I thought. I'll tell you what else is happening around here, which is good. Guys are getting healthy in a hurry because James White came out of nowhere and looks pretty good. So there's only one football, and you stand around too long around here, you might be standing for a while. which gets back to the first question of the day. So, you know, we're not where we want to be. I think we've got a ways to go with these young guys. And I told somebody the other day, you know, AC, we were talking about, you know, this is the first time in 15 years we've been ranked in back-to-back years in preseason. So, you know, this program is coming from a ways away. And to be where we are, to try to stay where we are and try to grow is an ongoing process. And we realize that. We've got a lot of games, a lot of football to play. And we've got a lot of young guys that got to grow up in a hurry. And, you know, we're going to put them out there, but I'm really pleased with how they're approaching the week. And, you know, we're going to see. We'll see what happens.
Go KO, and then Suzanne, you'll be the last question.
Coach, you were talking about the chemistry of the team and that, you know, it was different than what there is in a lot of places. Does that perpetuate itself over the course of years then as, you know, the new guys come in?
Every team's different, you know. Every team's different. You know, you never know. I just, you know, when you have as many young players as we have, you know, sometimes chemistry can be a tough thing for older guys who are not playing. I mean, you know, you look at our secondary, like I said, you've got two guys who play a lot of football. You got two guys that haven't played. And there's some guys that have played around here that are on the sideline, you know, that are friends with guys who've been around here for a while. So the chemistry of that, it takes some maturity, and it takes some guys to embrace some people. And I look around, and particularly on defense, you know, the guys that are we've got two seniors in the secondary, and that's about it. You know, we got our linebacking core that is led by a sophomore, transfer, junior, broke his ankle. You know, Justin Bass, who we put on scholarship as a walk-on. You know, just guys that are there, but a bunch of young guys that are playing. And so the chemistry can be hurt unless you have some guys who are in a leadership role that say, come on, let's go, like Julian Obioha and DeShazer and Howard Matthews, you know, who gets challenged every week to be better, but is also a big part of Armani Watts being able to just play football because Howard Matthews is getting him lined up and making checks. And so, you know, that takes something because, you know, one guy just got on campus and he's got some buddies that have been here since he's been here. But that's you know, part of growing up and understanding that we're here to do what's best for the team, not necessarily what's best for the individual.
All right, Suzanne, you'll wrap us up? And we'll get Schneider in here.
Kevin, getting back to the record that you all set with the students, there's so many colleges across the country, Michigan, Georgia, Alabama, Texas. Some of these schools can't or are having a hard time attracting students to their games that have made that a big deal. How much do you interact with students here at A&M to try, you know, to reach out to them, or do you even need to get that many kids here?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think, you know, at Texas A&M, football is a part of your collegiate experience, and that's not the case everywhere. You know, I've been a lot of places. I mean, too many probably. From the Pac-12 to the WAC, the Big Ten, the Big 12. I mean, I've been a lot of places and worked. I've been a lot of places and coached games, and there are not a lot of universities that have the same sort of student football relationship that we have. And it's part of a collegiate experience here, you know. And that's why you've got King Gill. I mean, it starts with the 12th man and the ticket pull and people standing in line. And, you know, We got 38,000 students at a game. There's some people who don't have 38,000 people at the game. They're playing Division I football. So it's part of your collegiate experience here, and yeah, we try to interact as much as we can with the students. I try to get out and do some things with them and try to be accessible. But I think the other part of it is we don't isolate our players. Our players are on campus. Our stadium is not 10 miles away from the campus. People are walking through there and walking around, and the only thing that they get mad at me about is music on Thursday. But most of the students like that anyway. But some of the professors don't. But we work through that. But I think we've got a great relationship with the campus, and like I said, it's a unique situation here, and we're really appreciative of that. Got the Players Curing Kids Cancer game this week, and I think you'll see a number of SEC institutions with that. We've got whistle placards and an organization that's raised a lot of money, over $5 million here recently, just to cure kids cancer. And you'll see our guys wearing wristbands and sticker on helmet this week, and it's something that's that is important to us and important to our team, and something that we're going to support. So if you see that, and you see those stickers and bracelets around, then that's what that's for.